morning. We are about to start the game pitch review. If the pitch panel will take their seats. The way this is going to run, because we have 9 people pitching, so I'm going to tell you right now, we will go over. That's okay because we have the hour between when it ends at noon and at 1 o'clock. We have the gaming creator connection in the same room, which is a 2-hour mentoring session. We're going to try not to go over too much because we realize people want a lunch break and all that. So, with 9 people, it's going to be, the word is brevity. So, when you come up and do your pitch, you can come up right here. I'll have the microphone for you right there, and then they will share the wireless mic that's up there. So basically, we're looking at like 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. So, do your best in 3 minutes to pitch your idea. Obviously, like in some cases, we have a great analog game up here where the board can go over and take a look at it directly. We've got some people reaching up on the screen over here. So we'll try and keep it quick as much as possible. And for the panel, of course, the feedback's got to be relatively brief and direct, constructive. But of course, the good thing is that after we're done, there's always time to chat and mingle and all that afterwards. So that's it. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started because we already have lost 1 whole minute. So I'm going to call up the first participant, Daniel Shuttler of the Shoulders of Giants. Oh yeah. If you guys can't see me, of course you go.
I've got a good angle.
Alright, my name is Daniel Shuttler. This is my educational battle card game, Shoulders of Giants. It's a 2-player game, ages 11. It's aimed at middle schoolers because I'm a middle school teacher. And it takes roughly 15 to 20 minutes to play a game out. So the starter deck components, it's 100 cards, tarot, 85 playing cards, 15 location cards, 40 plastic chips for bonus influence points, which I'll get into in a second. But just really quick about me, because I know I don't have a lot of time. I've been teaching for 8 years. I mostly teach video production. In the last 3 years, I taught history to middle schoolers. My middle schoolers have gotten more nominations at the Ivy Awards in San Diego than any other school in the county. So we put together lots of videos. And last year, teaching 7th grade history for the first time, I came up with this battle card game for the students. So the game itself is the kind of fill the need that we have been using the same textbook for the last 20 years to try and engage students. And both, just looking at San Diego and LA Unified, they also have a book from like 2006. So I think there's a big need in the classroom for a game like this that adapts key terms from the textbook, key terms, historical figures, and adapts them into, a classic playing card game. It's very similar to Marble Snap. At least the structure of it is where you have 3 geographic locations with their own special abilities, and a little background on those geographic locations for educational purposes. And the goal of the game is to win, to accumulate the most influence points by playing these historical figures, key terms, playing cards at 2 of the 3 locations to win the game. Right? And each playing card comes with a capital cost, so it costs a certain amount to play each card. It has base influence points, it has the name, a picture of, a visual card types. Some of the card types have 1 or 2, economic, labor, political, religious, military, name a few, a couple more. As well as the historical era based off of what we have in our textbook. And then there's an educational snippet, which is basically the classic definition. Instead of kids writing down, oh, here's the definition for caravan. Well, they're going to put it into the card itself. This version of the card is for the one I'm going to have to give out to teachers as a template for kids to make themselves. And wrap it up in like 15 seconds. I know it's a lot of text for a card right now. Then, like a published version, I would combine these two things into a much shorter text. So, that's pretty much it. There's lots of other cool features I would love to share more about, but I'm going to give more time to everyone. So, thank you.
So, I'd like my maybe just switch it on.
Yeah, just a few notes. That's good to know in the background. I think we lost a little bit of time on components that wasn't very particularly needed here, but I like the fact that you're basing it on some existing hardware that is revealed. Marvel's now is cool, so that's good. My question, and maybe that's for the other, why that particular design for this historical game? What's in the mechanic that fits what you want to accomplish? And I like that those cards have types that have a learning value and also allow for synergy or combos. We didn't get to that, but that's what I like to see explore. So Marvel's that good, why, and do we have synergies there?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I find interesting is that you wanted to engage the students to learn history by going through the card game, which is great. I've been designing a card game on myself, working in outsourcing in my company, and I've been using it to familiarize people in our department to learn how that process is, and having them get engaged to understand how it is. Gamified is really great. The one thing I have a question about is what is it that part of the mechanic in this game is getting the attention of the students to really be interested in how the history facts and things affect each other. Because I don't know if you're going through different time periods, or are you saying maybe at some point there's a mechanic in the game where it'll actually change parts of the history, or maybe change the outcome of history, maybe alter the history? I'm curious if that's sort of that possibility as well.
I mean, right now it's just like different abilities and synergies, like playing off each other. Like the serfs have very low cost or whatever, but they're the backbone of society, so they grow on that location, adding to the other cards throughout. And so each unique ability is a play off of rooted in their history, and then the name of it is connected to Shakespeare, to be or not to be, the Mongol or things.
Yeah, I think it would be cool if like some sort of effect or some sort of outcome of the game would actually change history. Like if something like if the conquest of the Mongols or something happens or it doesn't happen, what's the result of that or something like that? I don't know. I'll get other people to talk.
That's a good rabbit hole, though.
Yeah, so this is really good. My question to you, since you're a teacher and you're going over the textbooks, is oftentimes, and I experienced this kind of growing up as well, sometimes when you're talking about other cultures, it's a very skewed perspective. So looking at other cultures that are represented, like you're talking about Mongols or like Egyptians or anything like that, are you looking at other sources to verify? Because now, like, obviously Spotify, and there's a bunch of podcasts, a lot of content that's out there, and we're getting the other perspectives. Because a lot of times this kind of European, Eurocentric view of how these cultures are is not exactly the same as what is represented in those areas. So I'm just wondering if you're actually looking at those areas in your game.
And I can just confirm, having worked on all the Age of Empires and Civilization, that we have changed history for certain markets because the governments there said that our version of history never happened.
I first tried to get these printed through a company through China, and they would not turn the maps.
Yeah.
That is all in consideration, aside from just the textbook, for sure. Like I said, the historical eras, I'm like, it's based off of the textbook of where you put each one, but you can easily make different arguments that, Saladin is outside of the Crusades in the Middle Ages and stuff. So, for sure.
I love anybody who can gamify education. Obviously, the real trick is just to get these kids to not realize they're actually learning. Because as soon as you tell them it's an educational game, they're going to be more hesitant. Although, if it's the difference of that and reading a textbook, obviously they'd much rather play the game. So I love the concept. Obviously, there's a lot of detail, but I do love the idea.
Yeah, he pretty much touched upon what I was about to say about the gamification of it. So I'll just keep it brief and say that I would like to see more of how the game is actually played, because I'm not sure what the incentive is, for them. How are they accruing points? What are they going towards? It's like you're getting a lot of facts, but I guess how are they organizing these facts that are building upon something? So, I know you ran out of time, but thank you for your efforts.
I would love to discuss it.
Thank you.
All right, great. We're going to move on to the next pitch. So Nico Ramos with Engineers. And so as he sets up, how about the panelists just briefly introduce yourselves?
Oh, is that mic? I'm on the mic. My
name is Łukasz Wojciak. I'm from Poland. I am a game designer, board game designer, and I co-own a board game studio where we create our own licenses, but lately I've been doing board games based on licenses like The Witcher and such.
My name is Emmer Tantiaco. I'm the art supervisor for PlayStation Studios. I've been working in outsourcing for art for different first-party studios, mostly for Insomniac. Coda was not, but we work, the second part, right? Coda was a studio we work with, and also with Ben Studios as well. And then most of the time, we've mostly involved with Spider-Man, Days Gone, and Dust Red.
My name is George Rao. I am the manager of art and art outsourcing and concept for PlayStation Studios. This gentleman works with me. And today I'm working on Helldivers 2, since we worked on it as well. So we kind of did that game. But yeah, echoing the same thing that Emmer said, we support all the studios inside of Sony PlayStation, and we work on almost every single title that comes out. So please go play PlayStation games.
Justin Berenbaum, VP of Strategy and GM of Exola Funding Club. At Exola Funding Club is actually a digital matchmaking service that's free for publishers, developers, and investors to meet up and connect. Been in the industry for about 30 years, signed probably 100, 150 games, see roughly 100 to 200 pitches a month. So I am that jaded old guy that usually says this isn't good enough. But welcome and good luck to everybody. It's brave to come here in public and do it, so great job.
Hey, I'm Tremont Bland. I work in visual effects and virtual production. I've been in LA for over 15 years now. Time flies. Pre-pandemic, I was on the Avatar sequels, and post-pandemic, I did the live-action Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio movie. I've got front-to-back end virtual production, the whole those big LED walls, the whole Mandalorian virtual production skill set. Started as a generalist, but now I'm taking all those efforts into the metaverse, as you guys can see. So we're not streaming right now in 4K or live, but we're recording data right now, so don't feel nervous at all. But I am working on my startup where we are democratizing the process for everyone to capture their own holographic likeness to use for metaverse applications and beyond. So there you go. The floor is yours.
All right. So, do you guys want to build a castle with me? What about a bridge or a car? I'm sure we could take all these tables and chairs and put them together for a pirate ship or something. Like, you can take the backdrop here, turn them into sails, and just so you can walk to crow's nest if you want. We can build anything we want to as long as we make it together. And in Gluegineers, you, your friends, and all the pieces are stuck together. So the Gluegineers is a top-down cooperative party builder where you can pick up, throw, and glue together any object. So as you can see in our early prototypes, when we throw an object at another, wherever they make contact, that's where they stick together. And with this mechanic, we can overcome obstacles, solve puzzles, or defend a fort. Now this is what a level could look like in Gluegineers. So you and your friends start off in this little prison cell over on the left. And with the blocks around you, you can put them together to make stairs or a ramp to climb out. But then you're faced with this river, and all the water is coming out of a hole in the wall over there. So you can make a bridge, plop it on top, and then just walk across, or you can make a plug out of all the blocks and stick it in and stop the water for good. And at the end, you're faced with this wireframe figure right there. And in this level, that's the keyhole. And your key is scattered all across the floor. So working as a team, you guys are going to have to try to recreate that shape in order to block the next part. Now, these levels can be different play styles or different themes that we present to the player. So the last one was a prison break. You would use your wits to create tools to make your escape. Or we could end up on that pirate ship, and we've got sharks attacking us from every single angle. So we'll have to work together to make barricades or catapults to fend them off. And then once the big daddy shark comes out, that'll be a boss battle. And we'll have to make repairs on the ships as it takes chunks out of it, and we'll have to put together a super weapon to take care of it. We do have some concept art. These characters, we want them to be toy-like, and they are made out of like found materials that you might find in your household. And we also have early prototypes in Unreal as well. So as you can see, we have the mechanic of us picking up things, throwing them, and making them stick together. And we're working on adding multiple players onto the same map. And we can do this with any 3D mesh that we want. So we want us to stretch our imagination and use anything in the setting to get us through these levels. So our production, we're looking at about 24 months, a budget of $925,000, team of 14 developers. We want this to be a 4-player couch co-op experience, and we want this to be played on a controller, available for consoles and PC. That's my take. Thank you so much.
We have a couple of comments.
I'm going to say I think this is my 3rd year in a row, and I think my 6th year doing this. This may be the best put together pitch in terms of getting it done in 3 or 4 minutes that I've seen. You had all the basics, you had the key stuff about the game, why people should care, what's cool about it. Reminds me a lot of Katamari with a purpose, I guess, and meets Overcooked. Tons of questions about how you actually get 4 people to be able to pull this off together, whole other story. And quickly, will there be a single player mode? Yeah, so in order to do that, we'll probably have to switch between multiple characters for one player to play. That's fine. I'm just curious because obviously it's oftentimes hard to get 4 people together that wants to play a game. But overall, great pitch. Lots of details to work out, but great job.
Yeah, I hear Justin. But yeah, it looks like a great, interesting mechanic. Like, just from my perspective, I'd like to really almost see like a, like you said, we have a couch co-op. Like, I'd like to see like a VR, like, you know, like a multiplayer kind of thing. Like, was it like the one with the tagger with the running around? I don't know. All the times we talk about it. Don't let me around. Take the mic off. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, VR would be really,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm open to talking.
I'll echo what these gentlemen said. I will just add one thing because I know you're obviously looking for funding. I would also have in your deck, if you haven't already done it, you know, in the video game industry we call live services, so additional season content. Because once you actually release, one of the things is once you actually get some viral engagement, that core audience wants to see additional content, like on a regular basis.
We are very open to brand integration, yes.
I'm going to cut it there for now because we've got to move on. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. So next up is Jason Price with Shadows Within.
If you're sticking around for the mentoring stuff, I'd happy to talk a little bit more about what you need for the pitch.
Alright, this will be under 3 minutes. Okay, this is a little bit of an unusual game, so let me try my best. This is a full motion video game intended primarily for release on consoles, but it'll work just fine with keyboard and mouse, so there will be a PC release. In this, you play as some kind of a psychiatrist, and you're dealing with one individual patient for the entire game. It's a woman who's been having the same recurring nightmare for 8 months. Your entire job is to work with her, figure out what's causing it so it goes away. It's a mystery. The way it's going to work when it starts, you're going to hear about her dream, which I'm going to play now. And trigger warning, I used AI for the placeholder videos. There will be no AI in the final product. It'll be footage of an actor on a set.
The first thing I remember, I'm back in the house I grew up in. It's late on Christmas Eve, and I'm spying on Santa Claus as he's getting ready to leave presents. My dad used to dress up as Santa every year and put all our presents under the tree. My little brother and I would sneak out of our rooms and spy on him. I was always a bit scared we'd get caught. But this time it's different. It isn't my dad, it's the real Santa Claus, so I'm way more scared than normal. For some reason, I'm watching him through some kind of glass or screen, so I feel a little safer. I know how silly that sounds, but it's a dream, so none of it makes sense. So I'm hiding there, watching Santa do his thing, when I feel a chill come over me. Suddenly, I hear a bear rustling in the bushes. I don't know why there's bushes inside my house, but again, it's a dream. This startles me. Santa hears it too and starts looking around for it, frantically, like it scares him even more than it does me. Then the worst part happens. Santa and I spot the bear at the same time, and I get completely overwhelmed with terror. Seeing the bear scares me more than anything it ever has or ever should. I wake up so agitated that my heart is racing, and I can't get back to sleep.
Okay, as you can tell, the dream is full of weird symbolism, which is kind of what people want in a weird mystery. And this is the actual gameplay. You're going to ask her questions and watch videos of her responses and be like, this will have a lot more charisma than AI girl here. And I didn't want you just picking questions off a list, so we have this little menu where you kind of construct your own questions by picking any 2 topics she's mentioned, and you're asking about the relationship to her. As you do that, she'll mention new topics. You'll get clues as to what it could be. You'll get mysteries, everything you'd expect from a mystery. And I'm just going to start and out of time to finish. I'm going to ask about father and bear.
Oh, this one's a classic. So, we were all out in the yard one summer evening having a barbecue. It was one of those perfect nights. Warm, clear sky, everyone laughing and having a good time. Suddenly, my dad's face goes pale, and he shouts.
All right, we want to kind of finish that clip. So basically, this one's going to unlock a new topic, and every time you unlock new topics, you've got new options, and that's how the game plays out. That's all.
Just a couple of thoughts from my perspective. When you were showing that, 2 board games came to mind, so I will share that with you later. With similar ideas, like with the puzzle and having the analysis of the facts ahead. My question is, why the puzzle here that you have ahead of you? Why is it cold? Why isn't it just putting 2 or 3 things together? So that's what I would want to know. What's the depth there?
Okay, I've actually already released 2 full motion video games on PlayStation and Xbox that I self-funded. And in both of those, it was more of a mechanic where you were basically picking things off a list that were already mentioned, and players hated it. They wanted to feel like they were constructing their own questions somehow. Whereas when they're just picking stuff, it felt like they were just watching videos. So I kind of took their feedback into that. And they also wanted a less passive experience when they were trying to solve some kind of a mystery. So, the mystery. It's always 2. So it seems like you could ask thousands of questions the way you could ask 276.
I'm actually curious what those games that you're working on, right? You said they have full motion video as well. What was those games called?
They're already out and selling pretty well on PlayStation. They're Vegas Tales and Truth.
Okay. There was one game I played this sort of like that where you're giving like a bunch of videos. And you have to figure out what the mystery or
story.
Yeah, all that. That's what it sounds like. This is, and I think what you're going to do. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but is this going to be more self-guided, where you don't really have a tutorial, you throw in small hints and things like that to really push the player forward?
Well, I mean, there's an opening cutscene where the psychiatrist and her meet, and they basically explain the mechanics without explaining it's the game mechanic. But as far as the players choosing the key topics, they'll already know that that's what they're doing. And they can pick anything they want because it helps steer them towards the things they want to see about, as opposed to the parts they find boring. Although eventually they will have to ask the right things to get in. And yes, there will be clues that guide them towards the correct things to ask.
My only comment is on your pitch, because it's good that you're mentioning about how you choose games. I would probably include some of that in your actual pitch, because when I'm watching the video, it's just text and static image. It's not representing the game as well as I think you could want it to be. Because at some point I'm just reading text and seeing the static image, and I'm like, okay, I'm not understanding the gameplay. So just comment on the pitch itself. So just wanted to make that comment.
So I like the concept of questions. Can people go the wrong way? Can they ask two sets of the wrong questions? Or can they quickly get through it by asking the right questions in order? Is there some meta that makes me be able to solve it faster, or slower? I guess the question is, do I just keep finding pairs until I solve it?
There's an invisible guiding hand in the way that you unlock things, where the actual path to the ending, even if you knew exactly what to do, is the longest possible path in the game. So you will go through a path that gives you a whole bunch of clues so that you can kind of figure it out before you get there, and it won't be super fast. But also just a simple math with 276 options, you're going to ask a lot of stuff that you don't need to get there. And the only wrong paths, nothing will give you a bad ending, but you can just go down rabbit holes that you might find interesting that have nothing to do with the answer.
Yeah, the main thing that I'll keep it brief is the UI UX mechanic. Just like you're clicking buttons. I'm sure like there may be like a more engaged way for you to if there was a way to have the objects in the environment and just like click and drag them in front of the person. They can be like, if you click the bear and you get this in front of her, or it's a rabbit hole discussion, but I'll keep it brief. So there you go.
Well, I simplified it because console is my main revenue source, and I wanted the Xbox and PlayStation experience to be very easy for people on the couch with a controller.
Next up we have Silo Kwan with Magic Circle.
First of all, it's a card game which is 2 to 4 players.